Hey Amber, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We're doing well. Great Christmas break.
That's nice. Yeah, me too. I'm actually at my parents' place in Portland right now. So uh,
Wow.
that's a nice visit, although I'm gonna miss some meetings this afternoon because I'm trying to get home before there's a big snowstorm on Lookout Pass.
I've heard that. My daughter's here in town and we're debating whether she should try to get back to Bozeman tomorrow. I'm hearing it's not looking very good.
Yeah, winter driving, I tell you. Although
Yeah.
I'm not sure right now airlines any more reliable,
Oh,
and I think it's safer to not be in a plane COVID wise. So
yeah,
not excited about the drive.
you're probably better off driving. Yeah. She actually slid off the road going back after Christmas,
Oh,
and and it was a good lesson for her, because it just helped her realize things can happen.
right.
So it was good. It turned out really well, but I think we might talk her into staying here until this thing blows over.
Yeah. No, there's supposed to be a bad storm on lookout, and yeah, I've been monitoring all sorts of weather between here and Missoula. Okay,
Yeah.
Gwen's on. We better quit chatting.
Oh, it's all yours, Gwen.
After 4 solid days of driving down to California and back for Christmas, I'm happy to not be on the roads. But yes, go slow. I have to say, cars these days are way better than the rear wheel drive all season radial station wagons.
Oh my gosh.
Because man, you'd be fishtailing all over the place. So yeah, it's way better, but even then, respect Mother Nature.
Yes.
And just go slow, Amber. You'll get here. Okay, we got 1 more minute, so I'm just going to sit tight according to my time on my computer. We'll give it 1 more minute and then we'll get started. Okay, and it looks like it is 9 o'clock. I want to ask our clerk, is it Megan today? Oh, Claire. Claire, you're here with us. Everything ready to go?
Everything is ready to go. I just want to give people a small heads up that the e-scribe issues we were having on Monday are still happening. We've contacted the company, but we may have to go a little slow on voting all day long because the voting is not showing the new council members is showing up. So we have to record it by hand and make some alterations in the notes afterwards.
Okay, great. And just FYI, in terms of how the names roll out, Jones alphabetically comes before Jordan. I think Marty was kind of juggling everything Monday night, and that actually is a little bit of a buffer between Jordan Hess and Kristen Jordan. So we can keep everything straight. Okay, great. Thanks for that. We will get started then. I'd like to call Committee of the Whole to order for the Missoula City Council. It is January 5th, 2022. And could you please take a roll call attendance? And Happy New Year, everyone. Good to see you.
Nope, sorry, we're here. We're just double checking. This is the part we're not sure it's going to work.
That's fine.
All right, so
lots of time this morning. No worries.
Anderson.
Present.
Becerra.
Present.
Carlino.
Didn't hear you, Dan. But
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, okay, present.
Contos.
Here.
Hess.
Present.
Jones.
present.
I believe Jordan is absent. Nugent.
Here.
Savage.
Present.
Cheryl.
Present.
Vasika.
Present.
West.
Present.
All right, that should be everybody.
Thank you. We have minutes from December 15th, 2021 to approve. Were there any changes to those minutes? Seeing none, those will stand approved. Public comment on items not on the agenda. I will call for that. We have no one in attendance currently. Okay, so moving on with our first item of business, we have election of city council committee chairs. This is something we do every 2 years. We need to elect chairs to our 5 committees, since our 6th committee of the whole, as president, I reside over that one. So we have 5 committees to fill. And I'm just going to go alphabetically. The first one is administration and finance. Are there any nominations for chair of administration and finance? Jordan Hess.
Thanks, Gwen. I'd like to nominate Heidi West, and I'd like to give some brief remarks, if that's okay.
Please go ahead.
Okay. The Administration and Finance Committee is the one committee that doesn't have a chair that's carrying over, and with Gwen moving over to Committee of the Whole, I think Heidi would be really fantastic at this committee. There's so much housing, contractual, affordable housing items that come before this committee, as well as redevelopment items. Heidi's been my vice chair in land use and planning, and I think that her skill set will fill this role really well. So I'd like to nominate Heidi and encourage you all to support her.
Great, thank you. Thank you for taking your hand down. I'm unable to take your hand down, so if you guys manage that, thank you. Ms. Cheryl.
Yeah, I just wanted to speak in favor of that nomination as well. I think Heidi's done a great job every time she chairs committees. She's always chairing committees. Whenever she is asked, she's calm, she's knowledgeable. The housing piece is going to be an important piece for her to take in this, and to have her at the helm in this committee. So I'd be really excited to have Heidi chair this committee.
Great, thank you. Are there any other nominations for administration and finance? Okay, seeing none, I just want to make a couple comments. First of all, I think Heidi West would be great. Heidi and I ran together our first time 6 years ago. She's knowledgeable. She's been on council a long time and understands she has a lot of institutional knowledge, which also really helps. And Heidi just would be great. So I'm very much in support of it. I also just wanted to note, as we go through these elections today, as we discussed in December with our council rules that we are adjusting, we might be realigning the committees a little bit. And if we need to readjust at that point in late January when we finalize that, so be it. But for the most part, I think everything will be holding true in terms of electing these chairs. Just a few things will shuffle around amongst committees a little bit. Okay, so any other nominations for ANF or any other comments from council? Seeing none, I'll call for public comment on this. There is no one in attendance, so we will have a roll call vote, Claire, on the nomination of Heidi West for ANF chair.
Okay, Anderson?
Yes.
Becerra?
Yes.
Carlino?
Yes.
Contos?
Yes.
Hess?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Jordan? Oh, absent. Nugent?
Yes.
Savage?
Yes.
Cheryl?
Yes.
Vasika?
Yes.
West?
Yes.
All right, that is 11 ayes and no nays and 1 absent.
Thank you. That can go into the consent agenda. The next nomination is for land use and planning chair, which we all know is a big committee. Mike Nugent.
Yeah, I would nominate Jordan Hess to remain in his role as chair of land use and planning. Can I speak to the motion?
Yes.
Obviously, I'm new to council, but I've had the opportunity to work with Jordan on issues surrounding land use and planning over the years, including traveling to DC to lobby for the build grant several years ago. And I find him to be a very thoughtful and dedicated leader. And I think he will continue to do a great job.
Thank you for that. I couldn't agree more. Going down through the list of raised hands, Amber, Cheryl.
Yeah, I want to, thanks for making that nomination, Mike. I want to second that for all the reasons that I outlined last, I guess it was 2 nights ago now, for him to be the vice chair. I think that this is a big committee and a hard committee. It's sometimes a contentious committee, and he has just shown grace and incredible leadership in taking us through that. So again, we'll be really excited to have him chair that again.
Great, thank you. Heidi West?
I also just want to add my support. I think land use and planning is in many ways a very unique committee because we're often in a quasi-judicial role when we hear items in front of this committee, in addition to also being in a legislative role and working on some really big projects like zoning reform. Jordan has really shown exceptional leadership, and he works really well with staff. I've gotten to witness that for the last year. Maybe is it 2 years? I don't even know. And is a really great communicator, both to staff and to the public. I think he does a really phenomenal job at framing really complex issues and providing an accurate context, which really helps everyone, and especially the public. So yeah, I support his nomination.
Great, thank you. I echo all of that. The only criticism I can find for Jordan Hess is there's no art behind him in his Zoom lens there, but I agree. Jordan is great and he will be great on council, and we're gonna come over and decorate your house, Jordan. Just wait. Okay, any other comments or nominations from council? Seeing none, I'll call for public comment on this. We have no one in attendance, so we will have a roll call vote on the nomination of Jordan Hess for Land Use and Planning Committee Chair.
All right, for nomination of Jordan Hess, Anderson.
Yes.
Becerra.
She just noted that she's having some internet problems, so.
Sure, we'll come back. Carlino.
Yes.
Contos.
Yes.
Hess.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Nugent.
Yes.
Savage. May have.
Yes.
Cheryl.
Yes.
Vasika.
Yes.
West.
Yes.
And do we have Becerra back?
Oh, it looks like she's trying to enter right now. Give her a second.
Oh, fell off again.
All right, I don't know. I still see her name, but we'll just count her as absent for this vote, and
Okay.
the motion passes and is unanimous. So it can go on the consent agenda.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. The next one is Parks and Conservation Committee. And so is there a nomination for Chair of Parks and Conservation Committee? Ms. Anderson.
Thank you so much. Madam Chair, I would like to nominate Amber Cheryl to continue in her role as Chair of the Parks and Conservation Committee. And may I speak to the motion?
Go ahead.
All right, Amber, this was sort of a tailor-made committee for her when she started on council. It's pretty rare that a new person takes on a committee leadership when they start, but given her extensive background in conservation and the expertise that she brought to council, she was ready to jump right in and has done an excellent job with this, and has done a lot of other things that she was called upon in the last 2 years, and that she runs works well with staff, communicates with all of us if we have any questions about what's coming forward. I think she supports the innovative spirit that Parks and Donna and the staff are, kind of some of the roles that they're seeing themselves play and fill some gaps. And she's a champion of that, and just an excellent addition to council, and was really awesome at running this committee, and would love to continue to see her do this in the future.
Thank you for that. Any other comments from council? I would echo everything Stacy Anderson said. I think Amber Cheryl is a great nomination. Her background in working in conservation and environmental causes, I think, is really pivotal. Also, Parks is always a wonderful committee in terms of approving playground equipment and doing all of the fun stuff. Conservation is a heavy lift, and I appreciate having someone who has her connections, her appreciation of how things work, to really get stuff done in climate change as we're trying to push that issue forward. Ms. Vasika.
Thanks. Yeah, I just wanted to echo, we were voted on council at the same time, and I'm just really impressed on how she took on this role with grace, and has just been nailing it every time that she heads this committee. So I absolutely support this.
Thank you for that. Okay, any other comments or nominations from council? Seeing none, I'll call for public comment. We have no one in attendance. So could we please have a roll call vote on nomination of Amber Cheryl for Parks and Conservation Chair?
Okay, voting on Ms. Cheryl for Parks and Conservation. Anderson?
Yes.
Becerra?
Yes.
Carlino?
Yes.
Contos?
Yes.
Hess?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Nugent?
Yes.
Savage?
Yes.
Cheryl?
Yes.
Vasika?
Yes.
West?
Yes.
All right, and that is unanimous with 11 votes.
Thank you. That can go onto the consent agenda. All right, next up, we have Public Safety and Health Committee. Are there any nominations for that? Ms. Vasika.
I'd like to nominate the current chair, Stacy Anderson, and may I speak to that?
Absolutely, go ahead.
Stacy has been chairing this, at least since I've been on council. I'm not sure if she was chairing it before I was, but it seems that she has built great relationships with the police department, the fire department, and so I would like to continue having that great relationship built between council and those departments. And I think Stacy is a good person to do that.
Thank you for that. Okay, next we have Amber Cheryl.
Yeah, Sandy, thanks for that nomination. I would like to add my support to it. I think that Stacy has done a great job in the committee since I have been on council. I also think she's really passionate about this work and has, I agree, built a great relationship and shows incredible leadership in any capacity that she's given, including this.
Great, thank you for that. Any other comments or nominations from council? Seeing none, I would just add that I support this very much also. I don't know if fire and police appreciate what an incredible advocate she is behind the scenes when they need advocating for. So she goes to the mat for them, and I appreciate that. That's our job. Okay, I will call for public comment on this motion. Seeing none, we will have a roll call vote on the nomination of Stacy Anderson for Public Safety and Health Committee Chair.
All right, Anderson.
Well, I guess so. Yes.
Becerra?
Yes.
Carlino?
Yes.
Contos?
Yes.
Hess?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Nugent?
Yes.
Savage?
Yes.
Cheryl?
Yes.
Vasika,
Yes.
West.
Yes.
That is unanimous with 11 votes in favor.
Great, thank you. That will go on to the consent agenda. And finally, last but not least, Public Works Committee, the backbone of our community, creating infrastructure. Do we have any nominations for chair of Public Works Committee? Amber, Cheryl.
Yeah, thanks. I'd like to nominate Mirta Becerra to continue chairing that committee. May I speak to it?
Yes.
So this is really the backbone, and I have to admit the projects aren't always really sexy to me or very exciting, and Mirta loves it and does a great job with it and is always a great resource when there's a piece of it that we don't understand, you know, and helping us navigate that. I also think that she works well with staff, and again, I think she really enjoys this type of work, and it is not the type of work that everyone finds super exciting. So thank you, Mirta, for being that person, and I'm happy to nominate her.
Great, thank you for that. Ms. Anderson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to support that nomination, echo everything that Ms. Cheryl said, and add that, this is the committee that I feel like we're approving a lot of contracts. And so Mirta is great at sort of explaining how these fit in to kind of the broader picture. It is the backbone of our community. I'm really excited to see a snowplow go by my house here anytime now. We are very fortunate to have her on council. She brings an incredible depth of experience, and having worked as a land use planner in the city, it's interesting to see how public works and land use and planning are very complementary to each other. And I think the fact that we are so lucky to have Mirta in the public works to really complement what's happening in land use and planning, because you need to build the infrastructure to build out all the rest of it, and does a really excellent job with all of that, and is really works well with staff and communicates with us kind of how all of this fits, the puzzle pieces fit together, and it's really important. It's hard to track all the moving parts. There's a lot that falls under public works, and she does an excellent job of that. So happy to support her continued leadership in this position.
Thank you. Ms. Vasika?
I don't really have anything new to add. Ditto everything that they said, except that Mirta has always been wonderful at answering my questions. Sometimes when I'm not on board with some things, she does a really good job of explaining the necessity of it, and is very understanding of my concerns. So I really appreciate that.
Great, thank you. And seeing no other comments or nominations, I would just add that Public Works truly is the backbone, and people may not see upfront the impact necessarily. They see parks as they go by, new playground equipment, and new buildings going up under land use and planning. But I just want to give a throwback to the old Malfunction Junction and the new intersection that now lives at what was the old Malfunction Junction. And if you ever doubt the impact of infrastructure on our world, just harken back to those days when it took 6 minutes at a stoplight to get through Malfunction Junction, while contributing all sorts of terrible gases into our atmosphere. So thank you, Public Works, for all that you do. I will call for public comment on this. There is no one in attendance. So without further ado, we will have a roll call vote on the nomination of Mirta Becerra for Public Works Committee Chair.
Nomination of Becerra. Anderson.
Yes.
Becerra.
Yes, and thank you.
Carlino.
Yes.
Contos.
Yes.
Hess.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Nugent.
Yes.
Savage.
Yes.
Cheryl.
Yes.
Vasika.
Yes.
West.
Yes.
And that is unanimous with 11 votes in favor.
Wonderful, thank you. That will go on to consent agenda also. Okay, so that concludes item 3.1, which is election of city council committee chairs. The second item is council appointments to certain boards and commissions. And to just speak to this for a couple of minutes before we go into nominating that slate. We have certain appointments that need to be approved by council, and then we have about 5 times as many that do not have to be approved, but are just a informal appointment process. And as I've been communicating with all of you behind the scenes for the last couple of weeks to fill those slots and have the best people in them, I appreciate everyone communicating with me and figuring out how best to really have the best people on there. At this point, I still have 2 open slots. So I just wanted to throw it out there. Clark Fork Market, I still need someone to lean in on that one. Ms. Anderson, you previously had that, I believe. Was that the same one that you had? Did you want to continue with that, or is there anyone else that's interested in it?
Yeah, I previously was the person on that, and I'm happy to continue unless someone feels super passionately, but love the farmers market. So happy to continue to serve in that role.
Okay, is there anyone else that wants to sit on the Clark Fork Market? Otherwise, we'll just keep Stacy on it. That is one of the lighter, it's a lighter load, I think. It's not a big commitment. Okay, setting that aside, the only other spot I still need to fill is the Missoula Civic, Missoula Civic Television Advisory Committee, MCTAC, as we call it. Typically has 2 people. Dan Carlino will take 1 spot. I'd like to fill the second spot. I emailed Joel Baird as to how critical this is, and I haven't heard back from him. As we sit here, is there anyone that wants to take that second spot? Otherwise, we can leave it open for right now and revisit it in the future. But is there anyone that wants to sit on MCTAC along with Dan Carlino? Okay, for right now, let's just leave that open. The priority for me is definitely having 1 city councilor sitting on there. And we're just going to go ahead with the council appointments to the certain committees that we do have to approve. The slate that I will nominate as chair of this committee is for City County Health Board, Amber Cheryl. For Community Forum, myself, Gwen Jones. For Local Emergency Planning Committee, Sandra Vasica. For Missoula Civic Television Advisory Committee, Dan Carlino. And for Transportation Policy Coordinating Committee, Merta Becerra. So I will put that nomination on the floor. Are there any comments or other nominations? All righty, Ms. Anderson.
Thanks so much, Madam Chair. I'm happy to support this slate, having sat on 2 of the 4 that were just done a stint on MCTAC and done a stint on Local Emergency Planning Committee. Ms. Vasica is going to take over my position on that, and will do a great job. But these are important committees to have a voice with from council, to have that connection. We're required to, but it also it kind of helps us keep tabs on everything that is happening, and really everything is all interconnected. And I would be remiss if I didn't at this point thank Amber Cheryl for her last 2 years on the health board. When we nominated her to this position 2 years ago, all of our crystal balls were broken and did not have any idea what was in store for us, and seeing us through a pandemic. And it has been a huge lift. At one point in time, this committee was meeting, I do believe, daily in the beginning. And so the fact that she did such an excellent job during that and is willing to continue on, because sadly we are still in the grips of a pandemic, just really, all of these committee positions are important, and I'm glad that everyone is taking that position. But Amber Cheryl has done an extra lift, and we are all grateful for her leadership and that continuity during a pretty scary time. So happy to support this slate, and thank you all for your service on these committees.
Great, thank you. Ms. Cheryl.
Thank you, Stacy. And I just want to tell everyone, you never know what is going to come to these appointments. That was a huge surprise. So I just wanted to say that I support that slate. I think it speaks to people's interests and it speaks to people's skill sets and just for the new members, I think that this is a great way to be out in the community more and be that connection for council for these committees. So just appreciate everyone doing their part because no one person could do all of these. So I'm in support of the slate that Gwen brought forward.
Great, thank you. Any other comments or nominations from council? Seeing none, calling for public comment. We still have no one in attendance. So we will have a roll call vote on the slate that has been nominated.
Okay, vote on the slate of committees, starting with Anderson,
Yes.
Becerra,
Yes.
Carlino,
Yes.
Contos,
Yes.
Hess,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Nugent,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Vasika,
Yes.
West.
Yes.
All right, that's unanimous with 11 ayes.
Great, and that, I have been saying that all of these go on the consent agenda. Do these all go on the consent agenda or are they just finalized here within committee? Jordan, do you have any
I
thoughts on
think they're
that?
just done here because I think our rules state that the appointments happen in committee of the whole, so I don't think they have to go to the full council.
Can I speak to that, Gwen? I have Marty here with me, the city clerk, and she has informed me that the committee chairs are done internally, but the local boards will go on the consent agenda.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. That certainly sounds logical. Great, so the local boards will go on the consent agenda. I will retract my committee chairs going on the consent agenda and they are simply done. We are in whether we like it or not. The one other thought I just wanted to share as we were going through voting on the council appointments to local boards and commissions, I remember that back when Marilyn Marler was the president of council, every once in a while we would actually schedule an update in council committee of the whole for everyone to just briefly report in on the different boards and commissions that they sit on and if anything is happening or if all is quiet. And I think that's a good practice. So I think I will mark my calendar for probably late spring and then mid-fall where we just take 30 or 40 minutes and for not only the council appointed committees and boards, but all of the informal ones also. People can just give a few sentences update and you'll have notice of that ahead of time. So any thoughts on that as a practice in terms of reporting in? Sandra?
I think that's a great idea, especially since, you get appointed to these boards and then you kind of just get forgotten about. And, at the beginning of council 2 years ago, I forgot that a lot of these boards existed. So it would be nice to get an update from all of them. So I would really like that.
Great. And Amber, any thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with Sandy on that. Also, there are, as you indicated at the beginning, there are a lot of boards that we are on that we are not going through this process that you were just appointing us to. And so I think it'd be great as those, have something to report that those be reported as well. But I agree with Sandy. I forgot about some of the things that people were doing until this morning looking at this, that I think it would be great just to have a better understanding of what's going on. And my first report's going to be that the pandemic's over.
Okay. Great. And some of these entities do come in for formal referrals and present, such as Missoula Aging Services and the City County Health Board. But there's a lot of other ones that I think having some kind of small update would be great. And Sandra, your hand is raised. Is that?
Yeah, so I was just wondering if something does happen during one of these formal or informal boards that we think that we should let the community and the council know. Do we write a referral about that and bring it to community or the community of the whole?
Yeah, for the most part, it would be a referral. Just talk to me about it. If there's a better vehicle for somehow spreading the information, we'll figure it out. But yeah, several of these do have formal updates, especially when city budget puts money into their budgets, then we need some kind of a report back periodically. So great. All right, everyone, without seeing no other comments, I appreciate everyone's time this morning, and I think we have all of our business done. So we will be adjourned. Thank you very much.